Greetings and salutations. This is BIGJXXX. Now, um, Kelly Ray. This video is a response to Kelly Ray and a response to Professor Tim Wilson out of the United Kingdom. Um, and I don't know whether to make this a two-parter or a one-part because one have to deal with the local politics, national politics, or the geopolitics. But this is the problem. Um, the problem that we're facing is has to do with Palestine and the local and how it's affecting domestic policy. Now, Kelly Ray said and made a statement, and I hope she don't mind me using her statement on her community tab. And it reads, "I understand that, but in what country can you reside other than here and chant that? I also get that it's a double-edged sword when you start censoring. It would be a crime in anyone saying that. Deport them? Why go to a country you hate?" Um, Let me go ahead and make this point. The solution to this problem, to the anti-American, anti-UK, in this case for Professor Wilson, and the anti-Israel chants that you hear in Wisconsin, what you hear in some parts of London, in some parts of Liverpool, which is in the upper part of England. I believe, though, concerning what's going on currently with the Gaza Israel war, with Benjamin Netanyahu and so forth, let me sit here and make this point crystal clear. If y'all really want to solve this problem today, you must grant the Palestinian people nationhood. This is the only way, in my opinion, that would remedy this problem. And there wouldn't be no death to America. There wouldn't be no death to to the UK or death to Israel in those chants in some of these places where there's a dominant um, population of people, those who practice the Islamic faith. When you let me put it like this. Let me put it like this. The Palestinians are the modern day Native American. When you when a foreign power comes into a comes into a to an area and summarily push out the local population, and then by some way produce war or produce some inflictions, violent inflictions upon the indigenous into the indigenous area, you're going to breed decades, if not centuries, of resentment. I, as a African American, a Black American, kind of have sympathy for the Palestinian people in their wish to to a nation state, for Palestine to be a nation state. You know, and Martin Luther King used to say that that riot is the voice of the unheard. Well, concerning to the local population within Palestine itself, warfare and terrorism is also the voice of the unheard too. And no, and just because somebody said that, and just because I use Martin Luther King's, Dr. King's statement, does not mean, and for him as well, doesn't mean we support riots or support violence of any kind. The point is, when you develop or colonize and and put foreign um, foreign systems and impose them on a local population, they're not going to be as joyous as you coming in there and uprooting their life and their lifestyle just because you have the military, financial, and social power to do so. So what's going on in the way I see it, um, if y'all really want to solve the problem with Iran, between Iran and Israel, you must you must grant the Palestinian people statehood. You must grant them nationhood. You must give them the necessary tools to be at the table of nations as they should be under the United Nations Charter that was passed during the last days of the Second World War, or at least in the at least what was promised of the Atlantic Charter in 1941 or 1940, when Winston Churchill met with our president, um, Franklin D. Roosevelt, and off coast of Canada. Our foreign policy, whether it's American or British, and I'm mainly talking to American audience though, but how can we fought a war to get rid of the colonial power from London in order to become a superpower and become the biggest hypocrites in world history? We became the biggest hypocrites in world history, and ever since, in I think Howard Dean, who was the 2004 presidential candidate, said, he said this when he was running for president, and I think it was before the whole screaming, you know, at the New Hampshire. He said that America lost its footing concerning Israel, the Palestinians in the Middle East, when America no longer became an honest broker between the Palestinian people and the state of Israel. That's really the problem. We no longer, after 9/11, and because of the, and let me say, and let me be honest, brutally honest, why? Because of the racism, because those people didn't pray like how we Christians pray. We want to turn our nose up and say, they're just like those in it, who brought down the towers down. We try to group all the Arabs into one big Islamic land when the thing is Israel. I mean, the thing is the Palestinian people and in the Arab world is not all of the Islamic faith. Many of them are Coptic Christians, Catholics, Orthodox Christians, and yes, there are people of the Jewish faith. And I think though, and the problem is that our foreign policy and the fear and the conservatives, the social conservatives, and their being having a stranglehold by the evangelical community here at home is forcing the hand of our governments to produce a foreign policy that only brings destruction to the world. And yes, potential violence at home, especially with these chants on college campuses, chants in Wisconsin, in other places where, and let me also say this too. Though I also think right wing radio, because I listened to Bill Cunningham a few hours ago. Phil Cunningham kept talking about, and Sean Hannity too, talking about what about Wisconsin, what about Dearborn, Michigan, and places in Wisconsin and so forth. See, I know that um, the virtual signaling and the virtual signaling of Dearborn, Michigan, the residents of Dearborn, Michigan, and it seems like how we're trying to create monsters when it's not necessary to create monsters. Um, and because of the rhetoric by right wing radio itself, it's going to cause problems for innocent people in Dearborn, innocent people in the Islamic areas of Wisconsin, Michigan, Minnesota, and so forth. That's what I also see. But like I said, if you really want to create a better society, in my opinion, you got the United States government need to grant and force the Israeli people, the Israeli government, to get rid of to get rid of actually I gotta say get rid of Benjamin Nahu for one, or put out a statement that we will not give Israel any money until you grant the Palestinian people nationhood. If Israel wants a plane, wants 10, 15 aircraft, military aircraft, you got to grant the Palestinian people nationhood. If the Israeli government needs a division of tanks, grant then therefore by a certain date the Palestinians give them nationhood. If they need American gold and finance attached to, make an amendment to the bill. If you really want more of what you ask for, then you need to grant the Palestinian people a country of their own, with their own constitution, with their own currency, with their own how can I say, with their own land so they can feed themselves, take care of themselves, so they will not be a prison within their own country in the land that they live under. And yes, with Palestine being its own nation, being at peace with Israel, or being at peace with Israel, or neutral, Iran would not have the ability to be sought after by some of these nefarious groups. And that's what I think that needs to happen. You want to solve domestic politics here at home? Palestinian nationhood. You want to prevent a third world war, a potential third world war. A Palestinian state needs to be declared, and it should have been declared back in the year 2000 when Bill Clinton and Prime Minister Barack and um, Arafat was in charge. There was a missed opportunity in the late 90s and in the early 2000s. But America allowed the evangelical community and the lobby over there to stranglehold their politics. Britain don't have the cojones to separate itself from American foreign policy to stand up on its own 2 feet in this regard. And then Israel refused to impose um, refused to oust its own unpopular prime minister and his rogue cabinet members of hardliners and bigots. So, you want to solve all these problems currently? A Palestinian state and people like Jesse Jackson, people, um, um, Dennis Kucinich, I've got his name, Kucinich, have all tried to advocate for a Palestinian state for decades, and they're being ignored. It's time. This should have happened 30, 40, 50 years ago. So anyway, my name is Big J. Y'all have a good one, and like, share, subscribe. Um, that's all I gotta say. See you in the next video.